Hey guys, nGAGE here again. Um, this time with a short video on making an enemy player an enemy chase the player and start or stop when out of range, that kind of stuff. And this is another support video for someone on Imphenzia's Discord. So either post follow-up questions here in YouTube or just in Imphenzia Discord. Anyways, let me quickly walk you through what I did. I did a quick test scene. I set up a navigation mesh so that this enemy over here could move around. It's just got a default nav mesh agent on there. And we've got this enemy script. I think you called it navigation script or something. And it's a slightly altered version of what I posted on Discord earlier. So what we have now is like you have your target transform. We have an update interval just to make sure that we don't set a new destination too often. This should only do it like once every 0.5 seconds. You were specifying that the enemy should be chasing when up to like 1 unit when they hit each other, or not chase when he's beyond 20 units or something. So what we get now is we get a reference to the navmesh agent. Previously we were starting the coroutine in start, but I decided this is pointless because if the player is out of range, we will immediately, when we start the coroutine here, we will immediately fail. But I'll go into what that is. So what we now do in the update method, we want to check if we are chasing the target. Oh, sorry, not chasing the target. So chase target is true, and this is the not operator, so it's the opposite, so it's false. Right? So if chase target is false, and we are is in range, then we'll start the coroutine update destination. Now the is in range check is quite simply getting the distance and then returning true or false if the distance is greater than the minimum distance and the distance is smaller than the maximum distance. If both of these conditions are true, then we return true. Otherwise, we return false. So, when we start the game, let me actually do that for a moment. Right now, the enemy and the player are too far apart. I don't have an actual script on the player, so I'm going to have to move him around like this. Nothing's going to happen. The chase component or the chase boolean is false. Actually, I'm not showing it in here right now, but trust me, it's false. And if we get within 20 units, he will start chasing, and if we move out of 20 units, he will stop chasing. So why is this? Now, like I already said, in the update, we're checking if we are not chasing and the enemy is within range, then start the coroutine. And when we start the coroutine, we set chasing or chase target to true. This has two effects. One of them is we will be able to get into this while loop and start looping this while loop as long as we are chasing. And the second effect is that we don't start another coroutine. You know, we don't want to just start them over and over and over. We want to make sure we don't fire off multiple, because that could cause all kinds of weird issues. So that's why we have the not chase target here. We want to make sure that we only start one if we're not already chasing. Anyways. So when this is true and we go enter this loop, we check if we are in range. Technically, I wouldn't have to, I don't necessarily have to do that because I'm already doing it here when I'm starting the coroutine. But once the coroutine is started and we are chasing, we're still going to be running this unless chase is false, right? So we do have to double check inside this while loop whether or not we are in range, because on the next frame or in a few frames from now, we still need to know if we are within range. If we are within range, we're going to set the destination to the target's position. So we just want to go to the player, essentially. And we're basically skipping this part. And then we're going to wait for 0.5 seconds. And 0.5 seconds later, we're going back up here checking, hey, is chase target still true? Yes. So we continue back into the loop and we're checking again what's the distance. So only every 0.5 seconds we're actually doing these checks and only then setting the destination. If for some reason we're now no longer in range, we're out of range, then basically this fails and we get into the else loop or else block, and we set chase target to false. And just as a security measure, I'll also set the new destination to the actual enemy's current position. So we don't actually keep chasing up to where the last position was. He doesn't actually keep moving for no reason. But if you want that, if you want him to continue moving up to the point where the player was last within range, then just comment out this line. But yeah, so because we now set chase target to false, after the next 0.5 seconds wait time, this is going to fail, and essentially we're going to exit out of the coroutine. And because chase target is now false, so it is not true, we then again rely on the range check. So if the range check is true, we'll just start a new coroutine, which repeats the whole thing. The other thing that you have or want to make use of is switch to a scene. I did not include that into this code. And you said you were doing like a on collision enter. So currently all I do right now in the collision enter is I check if the tag of the object that you're colliding with is the player tag, and if so, we set chase to false as well. But in your case, you will probably also start a scene switch event kind of thing. So what I would recommend on this thing actually is don't use a collision for that. What you may want could be, let's say, add a box collider so that there's very little least amount of calculations necessary. Just increase the size on the X by like 2, on the Z by 2, and we'll set this to a trigger. And so, or maybe you want it even larger, 3 by 3. And as soon as the player enters this trigger, you want to do your thing and have the actual collision collider stuff be for any actual collisions. Like let's say you want to shoot the enemy or something, then you want to deal with the collider. If you want some event to happen, use a trigger. So we would essentially just change this up a little bit. Actually, we can reuse this code, and we would just use private void on trigger enter, instead of a collision, we'll get a collider other. But other than that, it's just exactly the same. We're just comparing the tag. If it's tagged, then set chase to false. Or in your case, you would then do more inside the if statement, like do fancy scene loading stuff. And we would throw that in there. Or yeah, you could just say that if it's not the player, then we just return and not need to do this inside a block. We'll just have stuff like this. So that's another way of doing that. I think that's pretty much it. I hope you were able to follow my explanation here. Like I said, there are a few small changes between this and the code that I posted on Discord earlier. Just to add those requirements that you had, but also I wanted to make sure it's all working. And as you can see, my dog is being annoying again. He wants to play, but it's too late for that. But yeah, this is working, and yeah, he stops when we get close, starts chasing within range, and if we get out of range, at the moment he keeps moving up to the last point where he saw us, because like I said, that's why we have the agent thingy here commented out. If you just want him to immediately stop, leave this in here. Otherwise, comment it out. You want him to keep moving up to the last point where he saw you. Yeah, that's about it. I hope it helped. Let me know if you got any more questions. You can post them either in the YouTube comment section or just on Imphenzia's Discord. Anyways, I'm out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.